The world's drowning in meme coins, Kage.
Toi, Mr. G.
That's disgusting.
It's like investing in a circus.
You get rich quick and go broke faster.
Yeah, exactly. So got any Trump coin there, Kage? Combining politics and financial regrets.
That's funny, man, because Trump finally has a coin that actually fits his ego, man.
It's big, really big.
And hyperinflated.
Yep.
But you know, Mr. G, pump and dump.
Trump coin's pumping, except the only thing that's in its way is Melania coin.
It's quite funny now that, you know, we're talking the White House and meme coins.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine the president, first lady meme coins. That's crazy.
I think I'll probably go for Melania coin. It's hotter.
Wow, she's hot.
Yeah, damn. Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of picture I want, you know? Some old middle-aged guy, I mean... You know, give me some of that first lady meme coin.
It's quite funny because he even looks slimmer on the on the thingy, on his meme there.
Nice.
Slimmer with, you know, he's got his packs, you know, doesn't look like the real Trump.
No, as soon as you go meme, you go buff.
Straight up, we've seen it with a couple of guys, yo.
Well, anyway, we're not going to be investing any Trump coins or any Melania coins, but the whole idea there is that it's a meme, right? It's not an investment, it's not a security.
Definitely, Mr. G. Also, you forgot to mention the Flurm coin.
Ooh, flurm.
What's it called?
Flurm coin.
Flurm?
Toi.
Oh man, is that over yet? I mean, it pumped, it dumped, it got spat on.
Oh, really? Rightfully so, Mr. G, because that's the problem with what's happening in the crypto space. You know, people are just creating these meme coins and they don't realize that they're just ripping people off.
Yeah, it's all about, are you first?
Yeah.
Are you the first person to go and buy up all that supply and then just dump it on all the losers out there? That's the game plan.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
That's how it works, Mr. G. And we always know that with crypto, somebody has to lose.
Yes, exactly. And that is the point of this show today. And we're going to be getting into the idea of not just meme coins, but this thing called the fixed pie fallacy.
Yeah. And
how crypto is exactly a fixed pie.
Straight up. There's a lot of delicious pastry here, yo.
Yes. We've already had a whole show about meme coins, and we talked about this phenomenon, people buying these things. We want to just get a little bit more stuck into that because, of course, the big news of the moment right now is Trump's got a coin.
Yep.
Although he's very careful about what he calls it.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying to make sure he doesn't get into any of the trouble that Hoktua girl is now dealing with.
Man, I think, you know, when it comes to Trump, he's a bit smarter than that. You know, I think it's more calculated from his end. He knows what he's doing. So for him, it's just a game.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's definitely capitalizing on his fame right now. He's just doing what everybody's doing. I mean, if you're a celebrity, if you are anybody right now and you don't have your own meme coin, well, then you're behind the times. And the question is, though, is how valuable is it?
Yeah.
And where is that value coming from? Of course.
That's the big question, Mr. G, because, geez, these graphs, man, have been showing us flames. You just see, like, spikes, drops. You'd swear like someone is drawing those lines, literally.
Yeah, it's rinse and repeat. Mm-hmm. This is the phenomenon that we're dealing with. And most people, I mean, you would think would be smarter than that.
Yeah.
But it almost seems like something that's a sure thing. You just got to make your meme, make sure that it's hitting some topical popular thing, and you can make $1 million. So if you're a celebrity and you're not making your meme coins, well, I guess you're going to be missing out. Although it's not all just sunshine and happiness, of course. Now Hoktua girl is dealing with this legal issue, the legal ramifications of pumping a coin and a lot of people losing money.
Yeah, kind of sucks that, you know, she's sort of like the scapegoat at this point because, you know, I'm pretty sure she's not really much clued up when it comes to this crypto space. Someone probably influenced her into that because of the hype, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Centbee Show. I'm your host, Lorien Gamaroff, and my co-host is Kage, Memetastic, Ntshingila. Kage, welcome to the show.
That's a dope one. How are you, Mr. G?
Now, I'm pretty good. Talking about our favorite subject, Bitcoin. And not just any Bitcoin, of course.
Yep.
There are many different versions of Bitcoin, and the one we are always talking about and interested in is Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin.
The only original version.
That's right. The Satoshi's vision or version of Bitcoin, and that's now represented as BSV. Yep. The Bitcoin that you see traded on exchanges and pumped and dumped and all that kind of stuff is BTC, which is actually an alternative version of Bitcoin, although you wouldn't think that. And you wouldn't know that if you just listen to the mainstream media. Yeah. Actually, there's a very interesting graphic that we're going to put up there, and you're going to see that what's happened over time is that Bitcoin has split off, and we have the ticker splits. You know, we had BTC, and then we had BCH, and we had BSV, but then also there's the protocol splits, and that's really what matters. And of course, Bitcoin SV has stayed true to the Satoshi Nakamoto protocol all these years. It's the one that is seeking to create a world where we have low-cost digital cash payments, just the way Satoshi intended, with massive blocks on the blockchain and commercialized entities, all regulated, performing a function for us to be able to process transactions. And of course, that is what Satoshi's goal was. Not a world where we have crypto gold, digital gold, and we're hiding money from the government, and we're bringing down the man, and we're bringing down the central banks and all that kind of stuff. Satoshi Nakamoto wanted to create a world where we had a big problem solved. And that problem is, how do we reduce the costs of transactions around the world, something that can be really meaningful and valuable to millions of people, instead of just the few lucky people who get in early on these cryptos and make a bit of money.
Yeah, because that is the issue, actually, you know, Mr. G. I mean, when Satoshi thought of BSV initially, it was for the people. And with somewhere along the line, people just saw it as an opportunity to exploit that idea. But we all see it sort of like unfolding the way it should, you know?
Yes.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of proof that BSV is the real protocol. Last week we were talking about Terranode, you know, so it just clearly shows that there's a lot of activity happening on this side.
Nowadays, it's not just about speculating on these blockchain currencies like Ethereum or Ripple or BTC. Of course, we've got this whole phenomenon of meme coins, and there's no better way to lose your money. Really, all it is a collectible. You know, like something you collect. You know, it could be antiques, or it could be in the 90s it was Beanie Babies. And so, you know, those things don't typically have value, but people like them. People want them, and there's a sentimental value connected to them. So by selling your meme coin, if you just call it a meme, if you just call it a collectible, well, then you can pretty much skirt around the typical legal issues that you might face if you are trying to sell some kind of security. You know, right now in America and around the world, regulators are looking at these tokens and trying to figure out, you know, where do they fit? Are they financial instruments? Are they currencies? Are they commodities? Are they financial securities? This is now the big thing. And of course, the big news of today, which is Trump having his meme coin out there. He's been very careful to make sure that in the terms and conditions, you're not allowed to sue the guy.
I wanted to ask, if we're talking Trump, I mean, you know, as much as we like to make him, you know, the meme poster boy, you know, he's actually quite a smart guy. You know, I'm sure he's quite clued up when it comes to the law and how to also maneuver around it.
And a great salesman.
It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut.
Exactly, and a great marketer as well, you know. So, I mean, with him having to have a coin, like, isn't there like some form of legal implications, or I don't know, like some regulation that looks into that to say this is unethical or illegal in some way?
Yes, well, I mean, those are two different topics. I mean, is something ethical or is something legal? You know, there's a lot of unethical things that are legal and a lot of ethical things that are illegal. And so it's hard to be able to differentiate, you know, that. But of course, when it comes to securities laws, you know, those are well established. And what a lot of meme coin distributors or guys who are selling meme coins, they've gotten into trouble because, you know, they're trying to sell their coins as these innovative blockchain solutions. And if we just look at the Hoktua girl with her coin, you know, that went through a whole pump and dump typical of just about every other crypto token that's out there. And so she's facing legal ramifications. And that's because she wasn't very clear when the meme coin was distributed that it was just, you know, a collectible. And that if anybody buys it, that they are not allowed to bring any class action lawsuits. But as you said, you know, Trump's a lot smarter than that.
He's smarter because, I mean, it's clearly stated even on his site. It's more a meme. He mentioned it like he was more blatant about that. Yeah, he wasn't trying to sell it as an investment of some sort or anything.
A piece of history.
Actually, that's how he puts it.
Well, that at least means that he doesn't have the same liabilities, and the Hoktua girl is now having to deal with this. That's the very important distinction to be made when you're buying these things.
Yeah.
You must make sure that you're not being hoodwinked by all this talk about this innovative technology, this breakthrough, this new type of crypto that's going to change the world. At the end of the day, every single one of these crypto tokens out there are really just collectibles, things that you can have and you can feel good about having, and maybe you feel like you're part of the community and you're supporting the community. But none of these are going to be something that is an innovative technology that has real demand in terms of application down the line. That's how Trump is being able to avoid the issues that are being faced now by these other crypto shills. If you look at this Trump coin as just a collectible, just a piece of history, just a meme, go for it. If you love Trump so much and you want to support that token. But of course, you know, it's not just people who love Trump and love his memes that are buying these tokens. Even with a Trump coin, people get in early. They buy up a whole lot. And of course, that boosts the price up and gets people excited. And if you're the schmuck who then comes along and decides, well, you know, this is going to the moon, and you start buying in, you're buying from those early investors and they're making all the money, and you're going to be left holding the bag when it turns to pixie dust.
Yeah, because again, we always say that it is a game. So definitely guys who step in early into the game are the ones that actually rip people off.
Yeah, so this Trump coin has been released with this long legal waiver, which makes you think that maybe the lawyers don't even trust it.
And you know, Mr. G, I mean, nothing says confidence like, please don't sue us, you know?
Yeah, exactly. They know what they're getting themselves into.
It's so clear that, it's like you have no grounds of suing, basically. You just bought it at your own risk, and that's that.
The question is now, did those coins rise in value?
Yeah.
Or did they just rise in price? We often discuss on the show the difference between price and value. Price is what you pay and value is what you get.
Yeah.
You look at the Trump coin right now, it's pumped and of course it dumped and it's on its way back again. Who knows where it's going to be at the end of the week. You know, a lot of people think, wow, you know, this coin is incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
But all they're looking at is that price. And price is not, in this particular industry, not an indicator of the value that you're getting.
Has no intrinsic value.
True, Ms. G. And, you know, lately we've also sort of accustomed ourselves to, you know, viral popularity. Like if something is virally popular, that means it's valuable. And we all know that that's a blatant lie. Because we've seen these guys taking advantage of their numbers of followers. But to your question, what value did it bring? Because it's just prices and nothing out of it came. Like nothing. Like there's no product, there's nothing. It's literally just speculation.
Yes, and you mentioned ethics earlier on. And of course, what Trump is doing isn't illegal. I mean, he has his legal waiver.
Yeah.
But is it ethical? And a lot of people are saying, well, look, this is not ethical that somebody as popular as Trump with so many followers, you know, those followers and people who believe in Trump want to support the guy.
Yeah.
They really think that buying a piece of Trump coin is going to somehow, you know, boost his image. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But the ethics there is that, well, now isn't Trump just kind of milking, his supporters now?
It's like he's literally playing the game as planned out.
Yeah. And, you know, if you think also about the holders of those coins, there's people that are now making lots of money on these coins. And you think, well, this is really great. You know, Trump has now put out this product and it's making a lot of people wealthy.
Yeah.
But you've got to ask yourself, where's that wealth coming from?
Yeah.
In economics, we have this idea of the fixed pie. And when you look at these crypto tokens, they're very much like a fixed sized pie.
Definitely.
And if some people buy a lot of that pie, well, then there's less pie for everybody else.
Yeah.
But also, where does the money come from to be able to purchase that piece of the pie? And all that money is just coming from other people who want to get in. And so this is not about wealth creation. Those people who are now making a lot of money on the back of the Trump coin, or who made a lot of money on the Hoktua coin, it's not that they produced wealth and they generated wealth. What they did was that they just redistributed wealth from a lot of other people who wanted to get in. And all that money was then accumulated at the top with those few people who had all those tokens.
Yeah.
When it comes to crypto, you have this wealth redistribution effect. You know, it's not that any wealth is being created. Even if you just look at Ethereum, for example, you know, Ethereum is not creating wealth.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of hope and expectation that Ethereum is going to one day be the backbone of this new blockchain, financial world, smart contracts, and all that kind of stuff.
Wishful thinking.
And so the hope there is that it's going to become this incredibly valuable commodity, something that can produce wealth. It can create business opportunities. It can enhance business activities. It can reduce the costs of things. It can provide opportunities to people. And so a lot of people are looking at Ethereum as one day becoming this incredible tool to, make the world a better place.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened yet. And in fact, Ethereum seems further than ever from that goal. This whole idea of this world computer, it seems to be a fundamentally flawed idea that they can't get right.
Yeah.
They've obviously made a lot of changes to Ethereum to make sure that it doesn't have that proof of work.
Yeah.
They've moved on to something called proof of stake.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because they want to make sure that it's cheaper to be able to run the system. Proof of work famously requires a lot of resources, a lot of work. But that hasn't solved Ethereum's problems. Ethereum still can't scale, and it has all sorts of other issues as well, including regulatory issues. And so right now, the price of Ethereum is not due to its wealth creation. It's down to that one word that is the common, most important word in crypto, which is speculation.
Yeah. Straight up, Mr. G. And when we're speaking of Trump putting these waivers in place, Mr. G, we talk of it as if everyone will read them. We talk as if everyone is clued up about them, but we all know this is just for him protecting his own ass.
Yes, and people are only going to realize that that's in the legal waiver when their coins go to zero. The only thing, though, is when you have a collectible, and this is the thing about these meme coins, is nobody's trying to turn them into a utility blockchain.
Yeah.
Trump has come out straight away and said, look, this is not a utility blockchain. This is not a useful thing.
Yeah.
This is not something that's supposed to make transactions cheaper or provide all sorts of new business use cases. It's a meme.
It's a meme.
It's just a funny picture.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. And it's not meant to be useful. It's not meant to prove itself one day like Ethereum is trying to do. This is really just a piece of history, as he calls it.
So it's called a memoir.
And so if you're getting into this, you are just basically art collecting, I guess. And there's nothing wrong with that.
He's tap dancing on people's emotionals,
Yes.
like a piece of history. Imagine that.
It's also, if you think about NFTs today, it almost feels like that whole craze has kind of run its course. Even the word NFT, I imagine people must be getting a little bit sick of it. So, I think Trump's done a wonderful job again marketing this coin. He's not calling it a token. He's not calling it an NFT. He's calling it a piece of history, a little meme. But because it's never going to create wealth, it's never going to build anything. All it's ever going to do is it's just going to redistribute wealth from one person to the other. And that's how people in this market are going to make money. Now, the reason why we bring that up is because that is contrasted against real Bitcoin, BSV. Because Bitcoin SV is not just a token. It's not a meme. It's not an NFT.
It's not a joke.
It's a utility. It's a useful blockchain that can one day, and we're getting closer and closer to that with the advent of Terranode, to becoming the backbone of the new internet that we are moving into. BSV is not just a token. It's a data network that can provide so many different features and enhancements to the traditional and existing internet that we have today. And of course, with that is going to, in the same way the internet did, be able to produce businesses that can add value to our lives. And that's where the real value creation happens in Bitcoin SV. It doesn't happen on the speculation. When you're buying a Bitcoin SV token, you're not buying a piece of history. You're not buying a collectible. You're buying it because you need to use it and consume it. Consume it in something, a business activity or a payment transaction or something like that. And so it's a big difference between a meme coin, even BTC. I mean, BTC is the biggest meme coin
for real
right now. I mean, there's no difference between BTC and
these other
Trump
memes.
coin.
That is a very sad meme.
Mr. G, the way I look at it is like everything else is a knockoff. Like if it's not BSV, it's a meme, it's a joke, it's everything else. That's how I basket them. BTC, the Trump coin, the what's the First Lady's coin? Melania coin, the Haktua coin. They all belong in the same basket, man. And it's nowhere near BSV.
Exactly.
When we're talking crypto, we're talking crypto as a zero-sum game.
So when you think about a zero-sum game, the idea there is that when you have players who are playing in a zero-sum game, it means that if somebody wins, it means other people lose. So if you think about the game of poker, you know, what happens is when you play a game of poker, you buy into a pot. If somebody wins, then they're taking your money. And so you don't have a winner in poker without having a loser. And that's the idea of a zero-sum game. Also, another one is the game of Monopoly. You know, in the game of Monopoly, if you're winning, it means everybody else is losing. They're paying you, you know, they're losing money. When we look at crypto, that's the technical term for the type of game that you're playing there.
Definitely, because for me, I wanted to say keyword there is game.
Yeah.
That's the keyword right there.
So that's what's going on right now, is that in crypto, there is no, as we said, wealth creation. There's only wealth redistribution. And that means it's a zero-sum game. That means whoever is making money, that money is now coming from other people who are losing that money. BTC is also a perfect zero-sum game because people like Larry Fink, Michael Saylor, and everybody investing in BTC, the only way they're making money is because they're taking money from everybody else. And so you can't all be winners, even though these guys are going to say, you know, everybody needs to get in, everybody's going to make money, this is a sure thing. That's not how it works. Because if anybody is making money, somebody is losing money. And that is the nature of a zero-sum game. And that's when we talk about a fixed pie or a fixed size pie. Michael Saylor and these guys are taking most of the pie. And that means there's less pie for everybody else. And so when we look at crypto and we look at Melania coin, we look at Trump coin, we look at Haktua coin, all of these are zero-sum games. People are not getting wealthy by creating wealth. They are getting wealthy because they're taking wealth from everybody else.
It's a zero-sum game, accept the truth.
Now, that again contrasts with the idea of BSV. Because you're not accumulating tokens in BSV. You're not growing rich in BSV because you have a large number of tokens. But the way that you create wealth in Bitcoin SV is you take those tokens and you go and you provide a service to somebody, or you build a product. You do something valuable and you get paid for providing that value to somebody.
Like we were saying, Mr. G, BSV is more the ingredients. You know, it's not the pie. Because you can go crazy. You know, scones make scones. You can go crazy with pastry there.
Exactly. That's the whole idea, is that, you know, it's not that money is now being redistributed. Yes, of course, if you are in Bitcoin SV and you are making money, people are giving you money, but they're getting something in return. When you build a service, build an app, look at Centbee, we are providing payments services to people. And so when we make money providing those services, people are getting a benefit. They are willing to hand over money so that they can get something in return. And it's not just something like a token that they think there's a greater fool coming along.
There's value in that.
They are getting some kind of benefit from it. And just the fact that they are now consuming that product. In the same way, if you go and buy a loaf of bread, you're going to eat that bread. Yes, you've given that grocery store manager some money, but you've received bread in return. And with these crypto tokens, though, in meme coins, you're not buying Trump coin because you're thinking this is beautiful on my wall. Remember, it's digital. You know?
I wanted to say, Mr. G, that, you know, at least with Beanie Babies, we had like physical, you know, products.
You could cuddle them.
Exactly. You can hold it in your hand. But we're talking something digital here. Like, I don't know if that's real or not because it's digital.
If you buy artworks, you can put it on your wall.
Exactly.
You can enjoy
and
it.
Appreciate it. Even after generations and generations, Mr. G, like your offsprings can get to, you know, even probably that artwork goes up in value because maybe it's a local artist who's prominent in the space, you know. At least the value goes up.
Well, I mean, the dream there, again, with these people buying these crypto tokens, these Trump coins, these Haktua coins, is not that they can enjoy it, they can consume it, they can benefit from it, but it's the greater fool philosophy or whatever it is that every single person getting into these crypto tokens is hoping for that greater fool to come by that they can offload on. And if we just look at how these meme coins pump, the Hoktua coin, only a few people bought a huge number of these tokens when they were released. And what did they do? They then dumped it on the rest who got excited and saw the price going up. And so that is how it is. If you're going to make money, it's because you're hoping for a greater fool, not because you think that token is going to now add benefit to somebody's life down the line or their own lives. It's really just speculation.
It's a joke, just a joke.
It's quite different, like when we're talking BSV, Mr. G, because with BSV, I mean, we're talking creating wealth, being innovative. We're literally creating products. We're literally, sending transactions across the world faster and cheaper. Like, there's something there. Like, it's, as much as it's digital, but there is like evidence that we can point out in saying there is actually true value in this.
That's what I'm talking about.
When it comes to BSV, there's a lot of differentiators, I guess, that makes it not a zero-sum game.
Yes.
Let's talk about those.
We've just been talking about these meme coins and how BTC really is the ultimate meme coin. Why? Because you collect it, you don't use it. You're not going to be using Hoktua coin, and you're not going to be using Trump coin. You're going to be collecting them. But when we talk about Bitcoin, Satoshi vision, the way Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin and what he wanted from it was he wanted it to be something that is used. It is something that businesses can use to improve their business activities.
Yes.
And of course, when we look at Bitcoin, I mean, the title of the white paper, it says Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer cash system.
The most ignored title ever.
Yes, the most ignored title, and why BTC can't have the white paper on its website.
It's so cringy, Mr. G, because it's so blatantly obvious that BTC is a ripoff. The fact that they don't even, chant the fact that Bitcoin was meant to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash.
Yeah, look, things are obvious when you look into them, when you have an inquiring mind. But the rest of the world, most people don't have an inquiring mind. They've got one thing in mind. Generally, that's their bags.
Yeah.
How much money they're making. This is crypto, of course.
Yeah.
But it goes for everybody. I mean, there's just so much information out there. If you only went and looked at it, you would learn the truth about the world. But
True.
that takes a lot of hard work, right? And
yeah.
it's much easier just sitting back and turning on Netflix and searching TikTok, although you can't do that in America right now, right?
Unfortunately, just sitting back, just being told which coin to buy, literally that's what's happening.
Or go to your favorite celebrity and just believe everything they say.
Yeah, because that's news to people these days.
Yes, but Bitcoin isn't like that. And, one of the most amazing things of what Bitcoin gave us was that peer-to-peer cash, that digital cash system. Now, when you just say it like that, it sounds pretty dull and boring. Everyone's got payment systems. We've all got credit cards. We've all got Apple Pay. I mean, why do we need another payment method? But Bitcoin is just so much more than that, because right now around the world, billions of people, not even millions of people, pay huge amounts of fees when they are transacting or just don't have access to those kinds of payment systems.
Yeah.
And so when we look at Bitcoin and what value it can bring to the world, there are literally billions of people that can benefit from the amazing use case of Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer cash. But that's not what people are excited about. And so BSV is this amazing tool that can really add value in terms of bringing down the costs of transactions. But of course, another thing that BSV is really good at is as a commodity ledger. In other words, the ability to store information on this blockchain in an immutable way. In other words, a way that once you write information to that blockchain, you can't delete that information. So it's there forever. Another word that people have used for Bitcoin is a time stamping server. In other words, being able to write information to that blockchain and being able to know exactly what day and what time it was put there. And so those are the kinds of things that Bitcoin SV is now being able to provide. And of course, with Terranode, where we can now have millions of transactions per second, it means that we are now seeing Bitcoin actually become alive. Before, the only way that people understood Bitcoin was on an exchange.
Reminds me of that Frankenstein clip. It's alive.
It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
Well, it's not a Frankenstein. I mean, I guess it is something that Satoshi created. Satoshi's monster.
This is not even a monster, Mr. G, because if you're talking a monster, we're talking BTC. That's literally just terrorizing everyone, who doesn't even have much.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference.
Huge difference. And so that's why Bitcoin SV, Satoshi's vision for Bitcoin, the way he devised it, that is something that is going to not be a zero-sum game, because if you are getting into Bitcoin SV, you're not just speculating on the price of the token.
Yeah.
What you are doing is you are now going to be involved in a new industry, just like the internet. I mean, when we look at the internet today, the internet isn't a token. The internet is this place where we can come alive.
It's a protocol that's been consistent for years, that we were even able to build businesses on top.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on YouTube and Spotify. Look at those businesses that help us distribute our content.
Literally.
And all the incredible tools that we use every day. I mean, all of us, everybody watching this is watching the Centbee Show on a device, on the internet, and we see enormous value in that. It's completely transformed the social fabric of society in the world. I mean, it's just a part of life. You can't live without the internet.
That's true, Ms. G. And I like the fact that, I mean, we're speaking about the future here. It also gives like a better platform for content creators, because monetizing is going to be as direct. People can directly sort of like pay your articles directly to read them or to access like content that's exclusive. And that's like instant in terms of payments and cheaper.
Yes, so the fact that you can pay money directly to content producers, but anybody, I mean, if you can be a merchant and you can receive money in the same way you receive cash direct, you can receive a digital cash payment direct. That's the idea of Bitcoin. It's digital cash. It's not a promise to pay. It's not a credit card transaction that can be refunded or charged back.
None of that.
So this is an incredible new era we're entering into, in the same way we entered a new era back in the 90s, I guess, when the internet became commercialized. And we're entering into a new era where blockchain is exactly the same. When we look at the internet, if you were studying the internet back in the early days, it was a very boring, dry thing. This is how you would explain it. It's a data network. You can move packets of information around this network. Now, when you think about it, is that the internet? Is the internet just about moving packets of information?
Of course not.
The same way with blockchain, when we talk about blockchain, we are moving packets of transactional information across the internet.
But that's not where it ends.
Now, who knows? In the same way, we had no idea that the internet would just fill our lives 20, 30 years ago. The same thing is for blockchain and Bitcoin blockchain. Yes, we've got this new kind of network, and yes, it sounds kind of dull when we just talk about cash payments or transactions. But in the same way, just packets of information moving around a network gave us the internet. Well, packets of transactional information moving around the network is going to give us Internet 2.0. Not Web 2.0. It's a new era. And you talked about being a content producer or somebody who can get paid directly. That's the point. If you are somebody in some far-flung country and you've got access to the internet and you can do something like you can write articles, or you can write code, or you can do anything that you can do on a laptop, you can now earn income easily from anywhere in the world, without having to worry about setting up payment network or a payment system. Maybe you don't have that payment system available in your country. You don't have to deal with the fees. You don't have to deal with the fraud. I mean, if you think about receiving payments on the internet today, the reason why there was the .com crash is because everybody was getting excited about commerce on the internet back in the 90s. But then we had to put in our credit card details onto some sketchy website.
So security was an issue.
And we were like, no, this is not cool. We're not happy about that. And then the .com industry kind of imploded because they realized nobody wants to put their credit card information online because it's too dodgy. And nothing's changed. We still have exactly the same world today. We've got this internet. And people now, because it's so important to us and so necessary, we just are forced to put our credit card information onto the internet. And the merchant then has to deal with things like chargebacks. Because remember, if the card isn't present, and that's the nature of a digital transaction, the merchant can get screwed, because the person with a credit card can say, well, I didn't make that payment. That payment was done by somebody else.
True.
And that's why fees are so high on the internet. You know, the reason why when you're paying such a high cost on a credit card transaction is because you've got to pay for the inevitable fraud that takes place. And it's probably billions of dollars every year that just goes to fraud. And who's paying for that? Well, all of us suckers who are using our credit cards.
We literally are. Yeah.
And so Bitcoin gave us the ability to move away from that whole paradigm. It's almost like Bitcoin is 30 years too late.
Yeah.
You know, if Bitcoin had been invented in the 1990s, the world would be completely different. We wouldn't be using credit cards.
We would have saved plastic, you know.
but now think about all the different people who have some skill, have something to give, have something to say, but can't monetize it because payments are too complicated and expensive and just in most cases unavailable. Bitcoin completely gets rid of that and says, here it is, finally, the thing that we've all been waiting for decades on the internet, a reliable, cheap, safe way to make payments on the internet using microtransactions.
Micro. Keyword, Mr. G. That's why I was talking specifically about reading articles, because we're talking credit cards and stuff. That's why there's even a specific limit of charging, of saying you can only swipe a certain amount, you know. But we're talking cents here, or satoshis in this instance. Like you can literally break it down to fractions of fractions. So we literally, I'm talking about the fact that BSV brings true value to money. If we can send like micro payments, literally like a cent for an article, then it clearly shows that, you know, this is a system that we should be adopting, because whether you're in Rio, whether you're in South Africa, whether you're in wherever you are, this is all we need.
That's right. This is all we need. This is all we've been waiting for 30 years. We've all been waiting for somebody to come along and invent cash for the internet. There's even a code on the internet in HTTP. If you've ever been on a website and the website hasn't loaded, you know, you get these 404 errors, or
402, 401.
If you're a developer or something, you know what I mean. You know, you get these internet codes for HTTP websites, and it tells you, did the page load, or is there content available? Well, there's a code that's never been used. I think it's 402.
402, yeah.
And that means payment not available or made. But it's never been used because nobody's ever figured out how to make a proper cash payment on the internet until 2009.
Satoshi.
And unfortunately, what happened was the world's greatest thing that has arrived since the internet, well, it got taken over by a bunch of greedy bastards who just want to make a quick buck.
I feel like the unfold is happening like the way it's supposed to now. We're looking at Terranode, how many transactions per second, per day, done.
Exactly, done. So we've been robbed. You know, the world has been robbed of this fantastic invention. And, you know, we are all poorer because of it. We're not just poorer because we're losing all our money on fake cryptos and all that kind of stuff, but we're poorer because we haven't been able to now finally use Bitcoin the way it was intended. Something that everybody needs, whether they know it or not, and everybody wants, but our minds are distracted. We have smelled a red herring and we have gone off in the wrong direction. And now it's not about enabling people to be able to make payments and receive payments online. It's now just about fattening your bags, making a quick buck, pumping and dumping and shilling cryptos. And what a shame. What a lost opportunity it has been. And of course, you know, it's not just about payments. You know, we talk about the other useful things about Bitcoin. I mean, if it was just payments, that would be enough. But this gift that keeps on giving, Satoshi's Bitcoin, you know, we can also use it for other sorts of things. When we talk about supply chains, you know, being able to track goods through a supply chain, that's actually a very complicated process involving all sorts of entities, everybody working together or working apart. Disparate information and systems, difficult to reconcile things and know where things are in a supply chain. But Bitcoin is a perfect tool for that because it is a traceable ledger. That's what Satoshi created, the ability to trace things through a supply chain or through the history with perfect provenance. In other words, being able to find out where did this come from. What an incredible, useful application.
Never seen anything like it.
Something that can hugely reduce the costs.
We're just looking at global like supply chains. Imagine, I mean, especially food. it's important that we know when food was packaged
and where it came from,
exactly,
where it's been.
And you spoke about the timestamp, and which is something that's very important in terms of data recording, So, I mean, like I'm saying, we need the PSV, Mr. G. Like no discussions, no more. Like we can't be fluffing around and acting like this is not working.
Yeah, we've gone backwards, unfortunately.
Big time. Like this is general knowledge that's out there, and that's for you to find out. Come on, guys. This is your real BSV plug. So don't listen to the hype out there. Invite your friends, your granny. This is the real BSV plug. Like I said, Joe, mobile money on fire.
Yeah. And, I mean, when you think about Satoshi Nakamoto, of course, he titled the white paper Peer-to-Peer Cash System. I think that's pretty much, where he was going with this whole thing. But even though he might have had a lot of other ideas that the way Bitcoin could work, he obviously can't know the future.
Yeah.
And it requires people to look at something and say, wow, this is a great tool for this particular application.
Yeah.
And something new is going to come out of it. And so this is, again, the beauty of Bitcoin. It's not just an idea that is finished. Just in the same way, the internet being just a data packet network, that wasn't the end of it. It wasn't now we're finished with the internet.
It's still sort of like organically unfolding itself.
And entrepreneurs are coming in, guys with ideas. I mean, if you think about the early days of the internet, Mark Andreessen was creating browsers, and then Jeff Bezos came along with Amazon, and eventually Google. These were innovators that looked at this technology, the internet, and had amazing ideas. And that is, in fact, what we now need. We need people to forget about investing and crypto and speculation and start having an entrepreneurial mindset. And that is where the real money is going to be made for you. Yes, you can be lucky and you can speculate and you might be able to buy the next hot thing and make some money. And if you're lucky, you can get out in time. But if you want to build real wealth,
a million sum game.
if you want to actually have real wealth that you produce and you generate, that will not be something that can just disappear in 15 minutes on a crypto exchange, then you've got to start looking at this technology and saying, what can we do with it? Where are the gaps? Now, there are wonderful resources out there that you can go look at, and we always point people to the bsvblockchain.org website.
Yep.
And the reason why that's such a great website is, first and foremost, the BSV Association are trying to make an environment that's easy for people to learn this stuff and figure it out.
It's out there, Mr. G.
As you're saying, that's out there. But more than that, they've got a whole page where they show all the different kinds of companies that are making new businesses or maybe improving business models with the BSV blockchain. And that can be a way that you can get good ideas. So you don't have to try and think of something yourself. There are already entrepreneurs out there that are trying to think what they can do with BSV blockchain. But it's not just BSV blockchain. There are other cryptos out there like Ethereum and like Ripple and, Cardano and Solana.
And ironically, Trump's coin is on Solana.
Yes, you better watch out. I mean, that goes down every now and again. So, if you can't dump your Trump coin, you're just going to have to blame Solana.
You're going to see people protesting there by the White House, yo. Those who didn't read the waiver.
Yes, exactly. Well, they're just the lawyers will show. Sorry, you signed on the bottom line. What's that? Was it South Park where Kenny? What's the guy's name? Kyle or something? He signs. He clicks "I agree" on the Apple terms and conditions.
I think it was South Park. Yeah.
And then he gets taken into some lab, but you agreed.
Can somebody please explain to me what is going on?
We're trying to find out exactly what Kyle agreed to.
There can't be anything in that agreement that allows a company to do what they're talking about to Kyle.
Hold up, here it is right here. By clicking agree, you are also acknowledging that Apple may sew your mouth to the butthole of another iTunes user. Oh, boy.
So that's what's going to happen with the Trump coin. But what was I going to say now? And so there are other blockchains out there that are also trying to do these different things. Unfortunately, they don't have the secret recipe, the 11 herbs and spices of Satoshi's Bitcoin.
The sauce.
They don't have the secret sauce that Satoshi figured out, and that's why Ethereum is going to fail. But it doesn't mean that the people who are trying those ideas don't have good ideas. There's actually a lot of great companies and great entrepreneurs that unfortunately haven't figured out Satoshi's Bitcoin yet, but are still trying to leverage their blockchain of choice, whether it's Ethereum or Solana, to provide some kind of use case, some kind of utility, some kind of product or service to people, but just are not getting it right because they don't have the right blockchain. So there's another way for you to go and get good ideas. Go and see what people on Ethereum are doing, or Solana or Cardano. And what you can do, though, is you can get ahead, because you're not going to be depending on some blockchain that is going to fail in the future. You're going to be able to take that idea and start learning the skills and using the right blockchain, the BSV blockchain. And you're not going to waste time. You're not going to hit your head. You're not going to reach a point where you just can't go any further because the blockchain is just inadequate. Bitcoin SV is completely adequate for anything you want to throw at it. And this is the most wonderful thing. You can save so much time. So take our advice, go out there, and if you really want to produce wealth, if you want to be somebody who's not just going to be a victim of another pump and dump, go and look at what people are doing with blockchain, and then bring those ideas into BSV. And you're going to find an incredible community of people who are excited about these ideas.
And dedicated.
That's right. I mean, people in BSV, they're not trying to play a win-it-all game, a zero-sum game. Everybody in BSV realizes that this is a wealth creation game, and we all need each other. We're all dependent on each other. We can leverage the incredible insights and knowledge from the people who are involved in this space. This hype cycle is only lasting for so long.
This one is quite scary, Mr. G. Like the .com one, we saw some bodies, but this one's going to be brutal, man.
Yeah, this one's going to be brutal. So skip all that and be the Amazon of the future. Be the Google of the future. Dive in and start creating real wealth. Yeah, man, your BSV plug. Be ahead of the curve, yo. Thanks, Ms. G. That was an awesome unfold. We made it clear that BTC is a zero-sum game. BSV, it's not. So is Trump coin, Melania coin, Hoptua coin, whatever coin. All those bootlegs, zero-sum game. So yeah, stick to the real BSV plug, guys. We're going to be stepping into this week's social questions and feedback. Mr. G. Our first one comes from JTK Ventures, and they're saying, great show. Will be interesting if the mainstream crypto community takes any notice of Terranode technology. Well, I think it's going to become unavoidable, and we highlighted that tweet from Vinny Lingham the other day. He's as mainstream as it gets. The thing is that it's undeniable when you start looking at the BSV blockchain and seeing the statistics. I guess the BSV community are hyping it up a bit, but there is that World Economic Forum meeting that's happening, and they're looking at utility blockchains, and Bitcoin SV really is the only one that qualifies to be represented there. And so it's pretty exciting to see the Bitcoin SV blockchain on a global stage, even if it is the WEF, depending on, it doesn't matter how you feel about them. That's as mainstream. That's the pinnacle of mainstream. Most def, eh? Most def. I'd like to see what turns out of that, actually. Thanks, JTK. Our second one comes from Pelais J1. You guys have funny names on YouTube there, man. It's so hard to pronounce sometimes. But anyway, we love you still. This one says, one of your best shows ever. That was the Terranode episode. Terranode. Yes, check it out. That was where we talked about these 1 million transactions that have been produced on the Terranode system, which is a new implementation of the Bitcoin node software. It's tremendously exciting to see how Terranode, which is really just what Satoshi Nakamoto was talking about when he said that Bitcoin doesn't reach a scaling ceiling, it is now being able to show us that it's true. Bitcoin doesn't have a limit into how many transactions it can process. All that we've got to do is just figure out how to write the software so that it can happen. The protocol is fine. The protocol does its job, but now it's an interesting engineering problem. And of course, as we have seen, that's life, that humans are going to invent and humans are going to innovate. And so now that we've got that first milestone, that 1 million transactions per second, I'm excited to see the 1 billion transactions per second coming around. That's super exciting, Mr. G. Our third one comes from Sangster1, one of our regulars as well. Shout out. They're saying everyone in the world is going to be using BSV blockchain. Yes. Original Bitcoin. That's right. Anybody who uses the internet one day is going to use BSV blockchain, whether they know it or not. And that's just because Bitcoin SV is like the missing piece of the puzzle to the internet. Something that we've been trying to figure out for decades. We're talking specifically about payments, but it just so happens that Bitcoin SV blockchain also has these other incredible use cases in industry that will be under the hood probably of every business.
Yeah, most definitely. You can bet on that, Joe. Thanks, Angsto. And our last one comes from Wild Wild West Crypto. And they're saying, I like that you guys put negative comments, questions. It helps dispel the marketing against BSV.
Well, I mean, that's what we want. We want tough questions. We believe that Bitcoin SV is the one blockchain that is going to rule them all. And everything we've read about it, everything we know about it, everything we've seen, and also this whole industry that we've basically been with from day one. I mean, we've been involved in this since 2010. So there is nothing out there.
It's day one, Mr.
Since day one. So there's nothing out there that has convinced us any other way. And that's why we are so passionate about this blockchain and think that what we're doing right now in this show is trying to accelerate this advent of this wonderful new technology that is going to be so transformative.
Yeah.
And so if you've got questions, if you've got difficult questions, if you've got a question about Bitcoin SV that you just aren't sure about, or a problem that you think, or maybe you've heard other people talk about the problems of BSV, bring those questions. We want to answer them. And if you really have a difficult question that we can't answer, well, then I guess we'll call ourselves stumped. But please bring them. We're very excited to read your comments. We love your comments.
Ms. G, I'm also like highlighting what Wild Wild West Crypto is saying. You know, it's a matter of we also don't sort of like put this narrative like everyone likes or agree with us. You know, we're putting out a message that's honest, and if you disagree, it's an open discussion we can have, you know. It's an open conversation, yo.
Yeah, I mean, we can't avoid it. We're putting ourselves out there here. This is about exposing ourselves as much as we can.
Yeah.
And we're expecting the flack. I mean, of course, BSV, you know, we're all underdogs. You know, nobody wants a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Everybody wants crypto. And so we're just this one of these few voices in the wilderness crying out. Hopefully there'll be some ears.
As long as no one is, you know, toying us.
Spit on all the other cryptos.
All the other ones, not us. Mr. G, I think we've finally come to the end of the show.
Awesome, great. Okay, well, thanks so much, Kage. Thanks for the discussion.
Thank you.
Around what we call the zero-sum game of crypto, you know, where you can only make money if you're taking money from somebody else. And that's unlike Bitcoin, which is about producing wealth and generating wealth, where everybody wins. Everybody's a winner in BSV. There's only a few winners in crypto. Yeah. It was great to be able to touch on that.
I mean, it sounds like a dream, you know? Yeah. Everybody wins.
Everybody's a winner. Everybody gets one.
But it's legit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so, Kage, well, thanks so much for joining us. You got no choice. You got to join us on the Centbee Show.
I have to call him Mr. G. This is not even, it's not like a matter of us wanting to do it, or we just have to.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah. But I do want to thank everybody for tuning in and being such a great support to us, and all your comments and your likes. We really appreciate it. We're pumping past we got past that 1,000 subs, and we're hoping for the next 1,000. So tell your friends. We hope to see you in the next one. Please come back soon.
It's a rappy rap. This fly, I've been checking out this fly, man.
As long as it's not on camera, we'll get him. It's okay. As soon as it gets onto the table, I'm going to smash it. The fly.
Is it?
Okay, I'm going to get it. I'm going to smash it on my hat. Oh, don't do that. I was going to. Okay. Oh, he's on your head, Dad. Okay.
Nice one.
Did I get him?
I think so.
Did he fall down?
Got him.
Oh, nice. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. That's how we roll. Okay, cool.